Whatever else you might think of the world of UFOs, one thing is true. There's always something interesting occurring. The upcoming UAP hearings in Congress are set to happen soon. Many people are curious, hoping for big news about what most people still call UFOs. But if history tells us anything, we might not get much. For years, the government has kept a tight lid on this topic. They have a way of dodging questions and keeping their secrets. There were attempts to get congressional action on this subject 60 years ago in the early 1960s, if you can believe that. That failed. Rug was pulled out from underneath that process right at the last minute. It's an interesting little story. There were some murmurings in the mid 1960s, even a couple of single day hearings during that decade. Didn't amount to much and basically fell into the memory hole. Then in the early 1990s, Congressman Stephen Schiff of New Mexico, his district was Roswell. He took on the issue. What really happened at Roswell? He wanted to know. He asked the Air Force. You know, at one point, the Air Force literally told him, go shit in your hat. He got nothing, except proof of illegal destruction of records from 1946 through 1948. How about that? So things are a little different today. It's a little strange. It's weird. We've never had a situation in which several members of Congress are getting into this issue. That's new. We've never had that. Schiff was all by himself back in the 90s when he went to do this. And, you know, but now it's changing. And I've spoken to a couple of these members of Congress. I have to say they do seem serious. Whether they can make anything happen, that's another matter. And for the record, I don't know that they have much confidence that it's going to happen either, just saying. But they seem interested and they're engaged, and that's different. And, you know, over a year ago, we did get something new. That was the statement of David Grusch, former intelligence officer. Grusch sat before Congress, spoke plainly. He claimed the U.S. government had been hiding a secret program about retrieving and studying crashed alien spacecraft. He kind of threw it out there. And he couldn't say everything he wanted to. Classifications were above what the public was able to hear. Even some of the members of Congress, they were not qualified. But he did say a lot. He spoke of the non-human biologics, that we somehow had those, that these craft were piloted by beings not from Earth. I would say his words carried weight, seemed like that to me. Congress listened, or at least they seemed to listen anyway, and the public took notice. Well, some notice. I think what he had to do, what he did was it was a call for honesty. It was a push for clarity in a world of secrets. We've never really had anything like that in American history, in anyone's history. It's right there in the congressional record, under oath and all that. And by the way, what he said last year, well, for many decades, we researchers have amassed stories and reports exactly along those lines, that the government knows a lot more than it lets on. We've had claims and testimony from multiple independent researchers that the U.S. military has acquired entire craft, whole, complete craft, or pieces of craft, or dead bodies, and yes, live beings in custody in some capacity. And if you have not gone down that rabbit hole, well, if you haven't studied all of those witness claims, it is easy to dismiss it all. I would agree with you. But I've read just about everything that's available. It's overall very consistent. Moreover, the manner in which researchers obtained most of those stories, in my view anyway, also speaks to their credibility. In other words, you have one lead taking you to another lead and finally to someone who finally has the information, which you sometimes have to pry out of them. It speaks to the credibility, in my view. So what Grusch said, well, there's just decades of research supporting it. But officially speaking, none of that is true. Just go ask the government, they'll tell you. We have lived in this world of denial for so long that we just kind of take it for granted now. We don't even think twice about how our government lies to us. But there are many reasons why they lie. There's the old worry of national security. There's the worry about how people would react if they were told that there's a substantial non-human intelligent presence essentially blanketing our planet. There's the worry about how to discuss the fact that you've been involved in a secret Cold War that is weaponizing this technology. You have to ask, how far does this all go? Have you ever asked yourself what the government, or some very few people loosely connected to the government, what they might know about these other beings who presumably are here? Or at least how things look to those individuals who are studying this and who know certain things. And you just ask yourself, how far can this entire scenario actually go? And then when you've thought about that, ask yourself another question. Ask yourself, in what world are those people who control this secret, the whole secret? In what capacity are they ever going to be willing to share that? So now here we are again. We're on the verge of new hearings. Can this game go any further? Already it looks as though the UAP Transparency Act is dead on arrival for next year. There's strong opposition to genuine truth of UAP or UFOs reaching the public. That much is obvious. What's also weird is that, unlike the last time that we had hearings in the summer of 2023, this time we seem to have no idea about who will even be brought forth to speak. There's talk about Admiral Tim Gallaudet being asked to testify. Is that true? Is that confirmed? He's already been fairly public about some things, and he's had very good things to say. But you'd like to think he won't be up there alone. So if he's going to be there, and we still don't really know, who else will be there for the House and for the Senate? Because the Senate now has announced they're going to do something a week after the House. Well, I don't have any more inside information than you do. I keep my feelers out. What it looks like, and this is just my sense, is that the people involved in organizing these hearings are being very, very close-lipped about it. Are we talking more whistleblowers, people similar to David Grusch who can make dramatic claims? That would be interesting. Or are we talking about just interesting witnesses whose testimony might carry some weight in one way or another? There's a lot of people like that out there too. In other words, what is the game plan? What are these members of Congress and the Senate, what are they actually trying to accomplish with these hearings? I'm not aware of anyone who actually knows what this game plan is. Will there be any additional information on Immaculate Constellation, which we've been hearing quite a bit about lately? This is said to be a kind of parent program to other UAP-related programs. It is said to contain a massive database of photos and videos, documents regarding UAP or UFOs. And for the record, I'm not sure if anyone else has ever mentioned this, but this is not the first time that researchers have stumbled into this claim. Decades ago, one Air Force insider described almost the exact same program to the researcher Leonard Stringfield. He said there is this massive computer database. We're talking 1970s at least. Massive computer database that was essentially the mother lode of all UFO reports, he said at the time. He said, get that and you have everything. It sounds a lot like Immaculate Constellation. Is it the same thing? Maybe it is. Will we learn more about this at this hearing? Well, that would be a very positive development, but somehow I'm not holding my breath. Here's another weird question. Have you asked yourself why this hearing, or these hearings now, are being done right after the American presidential election? Can you even imagine what state of mind the United States is going to be in during the week of these hearings? Both of those weeks. Because no matter who wins the election, we all know, everyone knows, There's going to be arguments, accusations, recriminations, maybe even investigations. It wouldn't even matter who wins. This is very likely to happen. The country is going to be in a state of mind, let us just say, that is not necessarily conducive to an objective, detached, clear view of the UAP phenomenon. And do we think Congress is going to be immune to all that craziness? Congress might very well be at the center of it. And that is when we're going to have these hearings. There's also a good chance that even some of the members of Congress, maybe even the Senate, for all I know, might be lame ducks when this happens. And will that mean anything? How will that affect all of this? It's very strange. Is this for real? Is this for show? I have to say that at this moment, the hearings do not look auspicious to me. I'm not trying to throw cold water over this. I would love for something important and significant to come out. But I'm just going to say, over the years, there have been many attempts to uncover the truth about UFOs. And every time we try to get answers from our government, the answers are vague or false, and the real story remains buried. The system that keeps these secrets is strong. It has been in place for a long time, and it knows how to handle these situations. So as these hearings approach, just keep your expectations in check, because unless something big happens, the truth about UAP or UFOs might stay hidden a little while longer. I mean, maybe there's a chance for some more openness. The odds are low for this, but I'm hoping I'm wrong. But whatever happens, I'll be talking about this all again very soon. I have no doubt. So let's keep our chin up. And remember, keep fighting the good fight. Catch you later.